How old were you when you first left your house to become a professional hockey player?
Well, I was drafted into the Ontario Hockey League at 16 and took my mom's car and drove to Hamilton and ended up moving in with a family there. And so I basically left home at 16 and spent some summers back home. But other than that, I was gone.
Were you ever afraid that it wouldn't work out well or you wouldn't make it in the NHL?
Every day. Every day, playing hockey at that level, every day, it feels like it could be your last day. I was never one of those guys that coasted.
What were the most serious injuries you had during your hockey career?
How long does this interview have to be? Because this is I had some pretty bad ones. I had probably the worst was I was in a fight and I got hit on the right temple with a punch, and it broke 3 bones in my face and collapsed the left side of my face just got collapsed. And it took months and months to kind of get through it and recovered, but that was probably the most concerning injury. But I mean, other than that, I've broken both wrists, I've torn shoulders, I've torn knees, I've had a hernia, broken jaws and missing teeth. So it's like just nonstop. Failures? Oh gosh. It's hard to describe them as failures, only as much as hockey is a game of like it's a game of mistakes all the time. But I would think that I probably didn't understand or prepare for a career in the NHL like I should have. I don't mean to blame my coaches for that, but I think it's a combination of some of the coaching I had leading up to my NHL career. I don't believe I was mentally tough enough for the NHL. I think there's a certain level of kind of a meanness that you need to have when you get to the NHL, and I didn't have that.
Was playing in the NHL everything you dreamed it would be as a child?
Well, considering I never dreamt of playing in the NHL, it was, I would say, it was a lot different than I imagined it. I think the biggest challenge I had was I had this goal, a very short-lived goal, because it was like when I was 15, I started to kind of imagine that I could possibly play in the NHL. It was, between that and age 18, so those few years where I started to imagine that this could be possible. My goal at the time was just to get there. And I think looking back, one of the bits of advice I'd probably give other players going through that same time would be, you have to have a plan beyond getting there. Because I got to the NHL and, other than kind of scrambling to find a role and a job on the team, it was like, all right, did that, I'm here. And I should have had goals beyond that. I should have tried to set more challenging goals for myself to figure out what I should be trying to do now. I need to develop this. I need to become this.
What advice would you give a young hockey player or just a young athlete who is unsure if he or she should pursue a career as in professional sports?
Well, I would say this. I often kind of have conversations with parents who I don't know if they want to hear the advice that I have, but I think that. I think in terms of setting goals for yourself, it's important, but I also think, it's absolutely critical to stay engaged in school. It's absolutely critical to look, to set your sights in terms of, all the positives that hockey can bring in terms of experiences, in terms of being on a team and having that experience, personal development. I always felt if I could get a sort of scholarship, or if I could play hockey and have some of my college paid for, that would have been awesome.